Morning, I am James Quinlan Messervy, fantasy author extraordinaire, creator of creatures, embellisher of events, and firebrand, stories that kindle imagination. And today I wanted to talk with you about a topic that is near and dear to my heart and always brings a tear to my eye, and that is connections with authors and the ability to connect with authors and why connection with authors is important. I don't plan on taking very much of your time. Just share a couple of thoughts. So, I don't. I'm going to share with you my story, and I'm going to let my story be the example. And I want you to take the principles that I share and find a way to apply them with yourself for novice authors, of course. If you've already been around being an author for a while, especially if you have a good publisher, especially if you have a good publicity guy, a good marketing guy, then of course I just hope to be entertaining. I, I'm not very entertaining, but I'll try. Um, anyway, so my story. The United first became published as a self-published title. It was my debut novel, and it was horrible. The story was the same as it is now, but the editing was lacking badly. And but it was as good as I could get it. It was as good as I could afford it. It was as good as all of my beta reader friends who were willing to read for me were able to make it. And so we released. I self-published it. I did that a while back, and then after I self-published it, I kept pushing it around to publishers. And as I was doing that, I was contacted by an individual by the name of Chris Pasquarello. Now, if you haven't read anything from Chris, you are totally, completely missing out. His best-selling series, I believe all three books have been a bestseller on Amazon at one point or another, if not at multiple points. The Destiny trilogy, a mid-grade fantasy adventure that I absolutely was enthralled with, thought it was fantastic. My daughters, who were 9 at the time, have absolutely loved the story, and they thought it was a fantastic story to read. Anyway, that's Destiny trilogy by Chris Pasquarello. But at that time, the only story he had published was Destiny Revealed, and he contacted me on Facebook and he asked me if I would be willing to do a review swap. Now, before all of you authors go out and say you can't do one-by-one review swaps, this was before that happened. This was before that regulation. This was back when one-to-one author review swaps were okay, and it was awesome. And I met Chris, and I loved his book, and he gave me a 5-star review. I gave him a 5-star review. We talked about each other's literature for a little bit, and then we eventually became friends. Shortly after I met Chris, I signed on with Tate Publishing, and for those of you who are aware, that was a complete train wreck. I'm not going to say it was a mistake, but it was a train wreck. Their cover design was less than optimal. Their editing left a lot was lacking a great deal. But I was glad to have a publisher, and it was fantastic. We worked through a lot of things and did a lot of good work together, and were able to pull out the United, and then got started on pulling out the Denizens Among Us. Was about to hit publish on Denizens Among Us when Tate Publishing went out of business, and I was left without a publisher. Well, here comes my friend Chris Pasquarello again. And Chris recommended me to Cosby Media Productions, and that came on with Cosby Media Productions, and that was fantastic. Now, a side note, when I signed on with Tate Publishing, I stopped promoting the United online because Tate Publishing set the ebook price to like some $15, and I was not comfortable asking people to buy an ebook at $15. I kept pushing with them to drop it to $3.99. They eventually consented and dropped it to $7.99. And it was what it was. And then I came on with Cosby Media Productions. They set the United. We ran through another set of edits, made it a lot better. There were still some typos, but we made it a lot better. And set the ebook at something that I felt very comfortable asking for, promoting, and that was at $2.99 and $2.99 ebook. And I thought, you know what, I can do that. So got on with Cosby Media Productions. Huge shout out to Chris and a huge thank you to him for helping me make that happen. And then as time went by, I now that I had a book again, I got back into the promotion and marketing and telling people I had a book, and started working on the creation of Denizens Among Us, and started working on further continuing the series. And I got on a handful of groups on Facebook, and we started, me and some friends, Chris included, started talking about doing a Facebook event. Now, if you're not familiar with the events on Facebook, it was a lot of fun. They don't necessarily sell books. Like if you're an author listening to this, they don't necessarily sell books, but they do create relationships. They do create connections, and that's been dramatic to me. That very first event that Chris and we somehow ended up helping to create, and we ended up helping be the admins for. It was the first time I've ever done an admin on a Facebook group, so I felt like I had no idea what I was doing, but I went forward and had a great team. And through that process, I met Tisani Odette, fantasy author of the Layla trilogy. I met K.R. Martin, the fantasy author of the Sovereign of the Seas series. I met J.N. Tomzak, the author of the Kingdom of the Fairies series. I believe that's the name of the series, is Kingdom of the Fairies. Eidenhart's Rivalry and the Battle of the Great Siege, or something like that. Book 2. She's working on book 3 right now. Became really good friends with Alicia Scarborough and T.E. Bradford. And their friendship, the connections that I made with them were incredibly impactful to me, and they meant a great deal to me. And that was 2 years ago, and we're still great friends. I still chat with every single one of those individuals on a regular basis, and every time I go on to do a new event, I meet a new friend. And I'm not, and authors for me have been the best things to do beta reading for. I love doing beta reading for fellow beta reading swaps with other authors, because I love getting their feedback, and I love giving them my unadulterated feedback, and it's helped me a great deal. And then I started noticing a lack of community support from authors, so I created Burning Embers, and got a handful of people on board to help me create that. Stephanie Sowers, or Stacy Sowers, Morrigan Shaw is her pen name. Morrigan Shaw, sorry. Alicia Scarborough, of course. Marie Hoping, pen name Maria Vermisoglau. Rachel Pudsey, T.E. Bradford. And they helped me create a place for authors to come, to discuss, to be together, to feel a sense of community, where authors can say whatever they like. And that was the whole creation of Burning Embers. And I love when I post something there, or anyone else, any of the members post something there about wanting help, about questions about various aspects of the writing, about the writing process, and they're able to get the support that they need. They're able to get some answers to their questions. They're able to get some advice. Now, not everybody is an expert on everything, and I'm certainly know very little about many aspects of the writing, but I have a community that I can turn to. I have friends that I know the answer, or can lead me in the right place to find the answer, and that's meant all the world to me. And I don't feel like I'm going it alone. And then another family that I'm a part of, another community that I'm with, aside from Burning Embers, is with Cosby Media Productions, my publisher. I get along really well with all of these speculative fiction authors from Cosby Media Productions, and they feel like family to me. And it's been huge just having that support. I can turn that to them for help. We help each other talk through discourages. We help talk each other through when we're discouraged. We're able to help each other talk through. When we have successes, we're able to share our successes with each other. And I highly recommend you find a community. If you're able to find that community through our Facebook group, Burning Embers, then that is fantastic. That is the whole point of why I created it. And that was the whole point. That is what generated the creation of Burning Embers. That is why Rachel, Morrigan, Allie, Murray, Tracy, and I created Burning Embers, is so that we could have that support, so that we could feel like we belong to a community. And it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful having that for me. And I know as you reach out and build your community of authors, if you ever want to reach out to me, let me know. I'm always looking for new friends. I'm always looking for new perspectives, and I'm always looking for new beta readers. Give me fresh points of view on old books, not necessarily old books, but series that I'm already familiar with. It's always fun to have a fresh point of view to help me create that better. So that's about as much time as I wanted to take, but I just wanted to stress about the value of having a friend, author friends, people that I'm able to turn to when I'm having world building problems. I'm able to turn to one of my friends to help me work through my world building process. When any one of my friends reach out to me about a problem they're having with world building or something else about their series, I'm able to help. I've been able to help them work through those processes in order to complete what they're working on, and it's been fantastic. And anyway, I've been fortunate in my friends. I've been fortunate in my community of authors, and I hope that you were able to at one point as well. So anyway, that's it from me. I'll talk to you later.